Everyone. I'm Melinda Engstrom. I'm the class supervisor for the graduating class of May 2014. And momentarily, we're going to be bringing our graduates into the room. And I want to welcome everyone who's here, whether you're family, friends, volunteers, neighborhood, or staff. I want to welcome all of you here today to celebrate and help share with us this day in their lives of some very, very special people. And these people we have, they come from all over, and I think this class epitomized, kind of in a microcosm kind of way, how wonderful this community is that we have created. And we have students in our regular program, we had students in our Action Accelerated program, we have a student in our Special Needs program, and we had students in our international program. Our international friends and our Action friends have gone home, but they are here with us in spirit. So now I would like to have our graduating class enter the room, and as they do, I'm going to introduce them to you. First, we have Musei, Gabra, and Werner. And Musei is accompanied by his trainer, Andrea Martini, and he has two interpreters with him today, Lynn Martirano and Nancy Kaplan. Second, we have Marge Schmitz and Kent, and she's accompanied by Woody Curry, one of our class instructors. Next, we have Michael Coughlin and Dot. Oops, sorry. Turn that around. We have Paul Stawicki and Leonard. And Paul is accompanied by one of our other class instructors, Megan Crowley. Next, we have Michael Coughlin and Dot. And he is accompanied by Saxon Eastman, who was our class instructor assistant. And next, we have Maria del Carmen Sanchez and Akron, and she is accompanied by Claudia Saldivar, who is her interpreter. Let's give a round of applause. To share this day with us is not only a fellow graduate, but president and CEO of Guiding Eyes for the Blind, Tom Panic, and his guide dog, Gus. Tom, welcome.
Good job. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Guiding Eyes. What an exciting day. This has been a journey that all of us here have participated in some way. For the guests here, this is your first day. I welcome you to the Guiding Eyes family. It's an exciting day, and I'll tell you why. It's an exciting day because it takes a great deal of courage on the graduates' part to get to this day, as well as a great deal of selfless volunteering from our raisers, from their families, from our donors, from our community, from our instructors, from our staff, all coming together for this moment, to pause and to say that our students, our graduates going into the world with their new dog, with the greater deal of independence and mobility so that they can continue to achieve their life's goals. So I'm so excited that you're all here joining us, whether you're in the audience or you're at home watching via the web, or if later you're watching us on YouTube. It takes so many people to come together so that individuals like me who are visually impaired and blind can continue to go forth in the world and be able to be independent. And I'll share a very brief story with you. I usually have the privilege of meeting the class the first day that they come in, and I didn't have that privilege with this class because, as Melinda mentioned, we are very much an international school. I was in Tokyo, Japan. Guiding Eyes had received a very special honor for our breeding program a Lifetime Achievement Award went to one of our staff members, Jane Rossenberger, for the breeding that we do that's really recognized internationally. So what I'll say to you is, and of course we had the Portuguese students already graduate and go back home, and our action students go back home as well, but what I'll say to you is that what we're doing here in Yorktown Heights has an impact not only on the individuals here that are benefiting, but it also has an impact on the world of guide dog schools. We are setting the bar higher, better dogs, better quality dogs, better bred dogs, as well as setting an example for access. Tokyo will be hosting the 2020 Olympics, and we're saying, look, this is something we do here in New York, and you can do this too. So it was such a privilege to be able to do that. And in order to be able to do all of this, we need to have support. And so I'd like to pause and thank some of our supporters of today's graduation. Please, after I mention the name, give a round of applause for first Sally Stockhammer for her support of the graduation. Next, we have Peggy Nance Lyle for her support of the graduation as well. Please, a round of applause. And finally, we have Matt and Marisa Cece. So thank you for the support. In the audience today, I would like Laura Alexander to please stand up from Hitachi Metals. Hitachi received our Insight Award. Linda Press had worked on the relationship with Hitachi Metals, and Laura is with the Community Action Committee of Hitachi Metals. Thank you for your generous support. Next, I would like to introduce our very special graduate speaker. Now, I will say that when I was eating lunch with the class here on Thursday, I sat down and we were in a train station, and I didn't know it. All of a sudden, as we were sitting there having lunch, the dogs were remaining calm, and I heard this whistling noise getting louder and louder and louder and louder in the restaurant until I almost decided to pull in Gus's tail here, thinking he was going to get run over. But in fact, it was just a restaurant. We were all having a good time, and I had a chance to get to know some of their aspirations. I learned that Mike, who's here with Dot, wanted to be president one day, and I didn't assume he wanted my job. I thought he wanted the job of the President of the United States, so we had a long conversation about that. I did learn he was still too young to qualify for that position, but certainly I would vote for him when he gets there. And also Maria and Paul and others, we had a very good conversation, but I got to talking with Musée Gabre, who's here with Warner. And Musée is an individual that you'll hear from who does a lot of advocacy for the deafblind community. It turns out, just by chance, we were in the White House at the same time in 2010, celebrating the 20th anniversary of the ADA, and I had the privilege of Andrea Martin interpreting for us to learn a little bit about what he's done in his life and a little bit about where he's come from and how far he's come and what his advocacy work has been. So, as I mentioned earlier, it takes a great deal of courage to be here. Please provide Musée with your warm welcome as our graduate speaker. Thank you.
Hi, I am here today with all of you who have come here today to join us in celebrating our achievements here. Thank you for joining. I want to thank you for joining us and our furry companions who are here today, as you know, and they're very happy, wagging and smiling. We have made this journey here, and they're really happy to be here with you and us. I grew up in Africa, and I really didn't know anything about guide dogs or training. And part of that is because my experience was a difficult one. I thought dogs were dangerous because I had been mauled by a dog when I was young. And so I really had never had any experience with dogs except maybe for petting a puppy once here and there. And then my family brought a dog into our home when we moved to America. And that gave me that opportunity to see what dogs can do and how they can help people in the world. And also how, when I moved here to America, I also met a person who had a guide dog. And that was really the first time that I had, I had a hard time even wrapping my head around the idea that people could train a dog and that they could become guide dogs. And so my experience from before led me to this, the start of this activity of seeing what I could learn from. And really, what I learned about guide dogs really happened most when I learned how to read Braille, English in Braille. And I did not do that until almost the end of my high school career. And that helped me so much to understand dogs and also to continue to meet more people who had guide dogs. So now my housemate and my classmates, we are here, and we've trained for 3 weeks. We arrived here at Guiding Eyes for the Blind. And at first it was very awkward. We met our dogs, and we had a lot of questions about these dogs. I think that also the dogs had a lot of questions about us as well. And so you also are here to say, sorry, where am I? Where are you? And they're saying there was a lot of licks and sniffs and like, who the hell are you kind of responses from our dogs. We have learned so much from our dogs, and I want to just, we'll continue to joke around with them and play, but they help us so much in developing, and that helps us so much to develop that bond that will continue to develop. It's very exciting for us. And so what you here in this room should always, that we can always benefit from guide dogs. And the best way that we can get this benefit and develop a trust is for me to talk about to compare it to a cane and what you can think, what you all know about canes. There are 5 things I can tell you that are different. 5 things that are benefits of having a guide dog instead of a cane. With the cane, first of all, they don't talk, and so you can't get any communication with them. A dog you can communicate with. Secondly, a cane only has one leg, just one leg to stand on. The third reason is I imagine that, there is if you like someone in bed with you, can you imagine if you tried to bring the cane in with you? Also, a guide dog can help you to make decisions and judgments about, that a cane really can't make. The fourth thing is that you can play with a dog, but you really can't play with cane, can you? I don't know. It just lies there eerily silent. And the last thing is the greatest benefit that you can have from a guide dog here is that you develop a freedom and you can break through, and with all of this, and they can warn you about danger and alarms, and that you can free you from having an alarm clock in the morning. And for my situation, that means I don't have to worry about running out of batteries or having my system break. It's much gentler. So that is what a dog can do for you as opposed to a cane. And when I look back at what, I want to talk about what a dog can do for you, but when I look back, can you imagine the great team that we have developed? What we have done here and what our goals are, what is our purpose, the essence of the team is to be able to travel together and have that purpose. It's just wonderful to have a team, not to be alone, and to have a goal where we can work together. And they become your eyes so you can open up to the world. And this gives us a great independence and courage and strength to go around. When I look back at what a guide dog can do for us and what I've learned, had the pleasure to learn, there have been a lot of generous donors and volunteers and people who have donated equipment and time and energy and given us this great gift of independence. And this is so wonderful. I want to thank you all for this, many long hours of training that I've received. And you've helped to make a wonderful team. And I also want to thank the staff, and who include the wonderful cooks and the trainers. And the cooks are so great because they don't give us kibble. So. And so I want to thank everyone who's been a partner with us and has helped us to become so independent, and for your patience and our trainers who especially have given us this independence. And last but not least, I want to thank, on behalf of all of us, I want to thank the graduates who are making it. There's been so much progress, and we will continue to make the journey as we continue home. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Muse. I can't say enough about the people that I work with, and I want to get back to our graduates who are sitting up here before you in a little bit. But at this moment, I'm going to introduce someone who is going to talk to you about another very special group of people who are in the audience today. And that group of people, of course, is our puppy raisers. So I'd like to introduce Maria Lazaro, who's our breeding kennel manager.
Thank you, everyone. As I look at all these beautiful dogs up here, I can honestly say I knew them when they were just a gleam in their daddy's eye. And now we see them all grown up doing what they're meant to do, fills us with so much pride and love for them. So on behalf of the Canine Development Center, I'd like to extend a sincere and heartfelt congratulations to the graduating class of May 2014 and their beautiful guiding eyes. It is truly an honor and a pleasure to be able to share this day with you. Thank you. I have to say, I probably have the best job in the whole wide world. I get to go to work every day and I'm surrounded by love and joy, wagging tails and wet kisses, and all the fur any woman could want in her lifetime. But that being said, the journey of a Guiding Eyes puppy is a long one, and it doesn't happen without our dedicated staff, our generous donors, and our team of over 1,400 volunteers. These include people that are brood stud fosters, early socializers, home litter care families, puppy sitters, region coordinators, kennel and administrative volunteers, both here and in Yorktown and Patterson, and tour leaders and ambassadors. And they say it takes a village to raise a child. And finally, I want to say a very special thank you to our puppy raisers. You give the ultimate gift of raising a potential guide dog, and it doesn't happen without you. Why I say it's the hardest job here at Guiding Eyes, it's also the most rewarding. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And now, I'd like to ask every person who volunteers at Guiding Eyes to stand. And if you're a volunteer puppy raiser or raiser watching from home, this includes you too. And let's give each and every one of you a huge round of applause. Our puppy raisers, please stand. And now for the fun part. I'd like to present our puppy raisers with their certificates and photos. Please have one member of your family come up when I call your name. First of all, Jocelyn and Tom Pritchard from the Virginia Beach Puppy Region, raiser of Guiding Eyes Akron. Accepting for them is Howard Taylor. Catherine Sheena, Finger Lakes Region, raiser of Guiding Eyes Dot. Aaron Seacamp, Finger Lakes Region, raiser of Guiding Eyes Kent. Jordan Pazol and family from Cleveland East Region, raiser of Guiding Eyes Leonard. Linda and Jim Depew, Monroe Region, raiser of Special Needs Guiding Eyes Warner. And now I'd like to acknowledge the international training dogs, Mr. and Mrs. Paul Cross, Baltimore Region, raiser of Guiding Eyes Godiva. The Carey family, Dutchess Region, raiser of Guiding Eyes James. In the Action Training Program, Mark and Ann Napick, Cleveland East Region, raiser of Guiding Eyes Keats. Namali Kadekwa, Dutchess Region, raiser of Guiding Eyes Rollo. And in the Home Training Program, Robert and Diane Clark, the Muse Sharp family from the Maine region, raisers of Guiding Eyes Tinker. Also at this time, I'd like to acknowledge our Healing Autism graduates and their raisers. Kathleen McAllister, Shenandoah Region, raiser of Healing Autism Pico. Leanne Lavarone and Ann Scribner, Maine Region, raiser of Healing Autism Juanita. Winnie Fuller, Prince William, Virginia Region, raiser of Healing Autism Layla. Susan Eberth, Dutchess Region, raiser of Healing Autism Maple. Elizabeth Williams, Southern Tier Region, Healing Autism Madison. Nicole Benyo, Baltimore Region, Richard Briggs, Bay Region, Linda Ratcliffe and Beverly Camelier, Montgomery Region, raisers of Healing Autism Loyal. So now comes the fun part. Remember, from small beginnings come great things. And at this time, I'd like to introduce future Guiding Eyes, the spicy Miss Pico, the Paprika, and the little feisty Roxy. Please spread the word that people who love dogs and would like to be part of our family are more than welcome to join. We have many volunteer opportunities available. These puppies will be available for autographs in the groom room at the end of the ceremonies. I'm sure they'd love to see you all. Thank you, guys. And in closing, I'd like to share one of my all-time favorite quotes, and I think it's so appropriate for graduation. Makes me cry every time I read it. So here it goes. He is your friend, your partner, your defender, your dog. You are his life, his love, his leader. He will be yours, faithful and true to the last beat of his heart. You owe it to him to be worthy of such devotion. Thank you, and God bless you all and keep you safe.
Thank you, Maria. I introduced a few people briefly as they came in through the door, but I would like them, please, as I say their names, to please stand up again. Andrea Martini, Megan Crowley, Woody Curry, and Saxon Eastman. The trainers that stood before you took these young dogs from the puppy raisers and then put them through kind of, you could call their university training to become the Guiding Eyes dogs that you see before you today. And Saxon, if you could please stand again, our instructor assistant who helps support the instructors throughout class and throughout the string of training, and our instructor assistants hope to become guide dog instructors themselves one day. And Saxon, you made class so very easy and wonderful, and we thank you very, very much. Saxon also will be conducting the kennel tour that will take place shortly after graduation program is over. Now, the people that are sitting up here before you today, I have as Maria said, probably one of the best jobs in the world because not only can you not have a smile on your face when you walk into 140 animals that are happy to see you every day, but the people that I meet, that come here from all over the world, and I'll actually talk about where they're from when we give out their presentations. They come here from all over the world, and they come from all walks of life. They're college students like Michael, their grandmothers like Marge, their fathers like Paul, they're teachers, they're advocates like Musée. They come from countries with a language like Maria, who came to us from Puerto Rico, and even though she has a language barrier and she has an interpreter, she was dedicated and wanted this enough that she was going to come spend a month in the States and learning every day with Claudia at her side. And the people, when I look at you and I admire you so much, you become my heroes. You go every day, you go to work, you go to college, you cross the street, you take a subway. And to me, that's so heroic and so inspiring. And I feel honored and I feel privileged to be able to work with you and to meet you and to spend a month with you. And when you go on your journey home, I'm not going to say goodbye. I'm going to say I'm going to see you again, because you're now part of our wonderful family that we call Guiding Eyes for the Blind. And we will always be in touch and always wanting to share your stories and be there for you, to support you in any way that we can. For that, I want to give all of you a huge, huge round of applause. Congratulations. Our friends that can't be here today, and I'm going to announce their names first before we go into the presentation for the students that are here today. Our international training, Graham Buck, who is our Assistant Director of Training, worked with Rui André Guedes Bastista and Godiva from Portugal, Carla, Alexandra, Caldas, and James from Portugal. They were here for 2 weeks and are finishing their training at home. Our action training, or accelerated program, Gerald Brennick-Meyer, who is a training supervisor, worked with Judy Matthews and Keats from Orlando, Florida, and Tara Willett and Rollo from Schenectady to New York. They also left a week ago, and they are finishing their training at home. Our home training, Christina Vitrano, who is a home training instructor, is working with Carolyn Lewis and Tinker from New Tazewell, Tennessee. And they, of course, said they're being trained at home. So they are not here in presence, but they are here in spirit. And the Healing Autism graduates that Maria mentioned also, although they're not here today, they're with us in spirit. They're all part of that family that we call Guiding Eyes for the Blind. Well, now I'd like to present the graduates with their certificate of graduation. And I will tell you, the audience, that on Wednesday, just a couple days ago, the group here did what we call the Mount Everest of guide dog work. They all attacked Manhattan and subways and buses, and we ate at a restaurant on the upper third side, and we jokingly were telling them, you know, what they say about the song, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. So, without further ado, our presentations, our certificates. Musée, Gabra, and Werner from El Cerrito, California. Marge Schmitz and Kent from St. Cloud, Minnesota. Paul Stawicki and Leonard from Parma, Ohio. Michael Conklin and Dot from Lansdale, Pennsylvania. Maria del Carmen Sanchez Lopez and Akron from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Thank you, everyone, for sharing this wonderful, wonderful day with us. And graduates, once again, I wish you the greatest of journeys. You've taken your first step, and each day is going to be more magnificent and wonderful than the last one. For those of you who are here, puppy raisers, in just a moment you're going to be able to come up and meet your graduates. And then after the ceremony has closed, we are going to have refreshments upstairs in the dining room. And in about half an hour after refreshments have been served, Saxon will be in the main lobby, and she will be conducting the kennel tour. So you can go with her to see our kennels next door. All right? Thank you, everyone. Oh, yes. One more announcement, please. The gift shop is open, so please go out to make your purchases. For those of you who would like to see the puppies, they are down the hall to the left.